Tonight, grief-stricken community honoring a mother and her 2 daughters as their names go public. An auto shop in Kanata mourns the loss of a co-worker who died on the job. Plus, clearing the air, developers try to quell the concerns about plans to build 3 buildings on Baseline Road. Good evening. We now know the names of the mother and 2 of her daughters. Police say were murdered in Brockville last week. This as community gets ready to congregate for a celebration of life. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more.
Along the water's edge in Brockville, people stopping at this memorial dedicated to women and girls who have died as a result of violence.
I really believe it is a very unfortunate and tragic situation. We have, such a young family have lost their life.
A small display of flowers now sits beneath it in memory of 49-year-old Lawanda Elliott and her 2 daughters, 17-year-old Michaela and 15-year-old Nikita. The 3 were found dead inside an apartment on Cartier Court last Thursday in what police are calling a case of intimate partner violence.
People are astounded by the reality that this could happen in our community. And it's an opportunity, frankly, for us to continue to have this conversation and to amplify the realities of intimate partner violence in our communities.
It's the 13th alleged case of femicide in the province since November, according to the Ontario Association of Interval and Transition Houses. And advocates with Lanark County say they're also seeing more young people impacted by violence.
The reality is we've seen a steady increase that speak to 17-year-olds and under, and the level of violence that is happening in relationships with our youth.
A 17-year-old who cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and assaulting a police officer. As the investigation continues, police are asking anyone to come forward with surveillance footage in an area of Loyalist Park between 10 p.m. on May 6th and 2 p.m. on May 7th. And as the community continues to grieve, a celebration of life will take place here at the Brockville Wesleyan Church Friday at 2 p.m. The service will also be live streamed for those unable to attend in person. Brockville's mayor was not available for an interview, but in a statement Friday said, "Brockville is a strong and compassionate community. We will continue to support one another and stand together during this incredibly difficult time." And for many in the small city, this memorial has now become a place to reflect.
You're looking at a statue that represents violence against women, and yet we have not learned anything from this, and we're constantly repeating the same thing over and over.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
In the meantime, a major sense of grief is heavy on the hearts of those who work at an auto shop here in Ottawa, and his co-workers want you to know that Jordan Younger will be deeply missed. They say he was more than an employee, he was family. CTV's Austin Lee has more on how he died and the Ministry of Labour investigation.
Tragedy struck Kanata Wheels Saturday afternoon when a tire ruptured, claiming the life of a man in his 20s.
Devastating for the family, devastating for friends, just devastating for our city in general whenever there's a life lost as a result of a workplace fatality.
According to Ottawa Police, first responders were called to a business on Edgewater Street Saturday at around 1:40. Paramedics transported the critically injured worker to hospital, where he later died.
Just use the inside.
Across town at Super Tire,
This way there is no chance of popping the tire.
Technicians here are well aware of the risks.
But it's always clamped on the outside.
Roughly 30 years in business and no serious incidents reported here, but a tire rupturing is a scary possibility for all tire technicians.
Pretty much a bomb. Yeah, you're pretty much inflating a balloon that's more resistant, but still they pop. They are dangerous.
Ontario's Ministry of Labour is now investigating the tragedy at Kanata Wheels. In a statement, the Ottawa Police Service says this tragic incident is not believed to be suspicious. The Ottawa Police Service is supporting an investigation into the incident by the Ministry of Labour. But the Ottawa and District Labour Council says both the ministry and police should be conducting their own investigations.
They also need to ensure that their investigators are taking a look at the whole of the project, the whole of the workplace fatality from a different lens. And that's key, and that's so very important.
A tire rupturing resulting in serious injury, or in this case death, is highly unusual.
It's really rare. I only heard once before this accident. It was about 10 years ago.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
Tonight, Kanata Wheels sent CTV a statement. Part of it reads, "Losing Jordan due to a freak accident at the shop last Saturday was tragic and devastating. According to the engineers at the Ministry of Labour, the steel belts around the bead shifted relative to the rubber while Jordan was mounting a brand new tire. This shifted caused the tire to rupture, resulting in the tragic accident." In other news, for the second time in a week, police responded to a call for a runaway wheel on the Queensway. Ontario Provincial Police say a tire came off this vehicle on Highway 417 near Parkdale at 7:30 this morning. The tire jumped the median and struck two vehicles traveling westbound. Luckily, no one was hurt. Police say the driver of this vehicle had just recently changed his own tires and had not double torqued them. Last Friday, a driver was seriously injured after their vehicle was hit by a tire on the Queensway. And this is a live shot of the Queensway this hour. Be mindful of overnight construction and roads still slightly wet at this time. Also, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature currently dipping into the single-digit territory after today's daytime high. And let's have a look at that forecast. There's a chance of showers overnight as well as Thursday as well. Friday, there is a slight chance of rain, but right now, the weekend is looking fairly good, and temperature-wise as well, things will really start to spike and go into the 20s. But for the next 24 hours, we're not quite there yet. 7 degrees is where we'll start off tomorrow morning. By noon, we should be in double-digit territory at 10 degrees, and we'll hit a daytime high of 14. After pushback from the community and area councillor against the proposed new development by Bridgel on Baseline Road, the developer held a community information session tonight hoping to clear the air. Located in Leslie Park, the proposed rental and commercial development at 2946 Baseline could have more than 800 units housed in 3 towers, 2 at 30 stories high, and units ranging from studios to 3 bedrooms. But after public consultations in October, hundreds of residents raised concerns about the height of the development, lack of parking, and traffic congestion.
Make sure that residents understand what's coming. Obviously, a lot of the residents have concerns that we want to answer their questions and make sure everyone's happy. And if they have any comments, we'd like to respond.
But our main concerns are the height and obviously the lack of parking at the location. The plans that we see on the boards around us are the same plans that we had in October last year.
The proposal is part 2 of a larger development. When completed, there will be 5 buildings with a mix of ground floor retail and residential towers, steps from the Queensway Carleton Hospital. OC Transpo will roll out more details tomorrow on its plan to boost bus and O-train service in the city. General Manager Rick Leary unveiled a 10-point plan to improve service on Tuesday, including restoring double car service on O-train Line 1 by mid-June. Leary says transit riders will hear more information about the plan during Thursday's Transit Committee meeting, and Rideau Transit Group and train maker Alstom will be there to answer questions. CTV Ottawa has extended coverage of the public transit issues. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. It's a bold move designed to get people talking about impaired driving. Ottawa Police will be installing lawn signs to raise awareness about the frequency and severity of the crime. Police launching their month-long impaired driving awareness campaign this afternoon, and part of it includes putting up lawn signs that say impaired driver caught here at locations where impaired drivers have been stopped. Between January 1st and April 30th, 288 drivers have been charged so far this year. 1 fatal collision and 4 other crashes resulting in life-altering injuries have been linked to impaired driving. Police say impaired driving is never an accident, it's a choice, and that the signs will be a powerful visual reminder of the frequency.
People will be able to see these in their daily travels, on their way to school, on their way to work, on their way to pick up their kids, on their way to do groceries, on the way out to a restaurant. And we want people talking about the dangers of impaired driving on our roadways.
We can deplore the driver's actions with words such as reckless, thoughtless, reprehensible, uncaring. But these words are woefully inadequate to address such behavior in the eyes of those who see and deal with the carnage and tragedies that are left in the hearts and lives of those who are victimized by these offenders.
Weekly ride programs like this one will continue to take place at all times of day. A 5-year-old boy is okay after being rescued from a concrete hole on the school playground. Firefighters were called to a school on Tartan Drive in Barrhaven Tuesday afternoon. A child stepped into a concrete hole that was previously used as a fence post and could not get out. Firefighters used chisels and a pry bar to break away the concrete and rescue the child. In local sports news, the Ottawa Titans making the capital proud with a win in New York tonight.
Taking advantage of the education day here at Clover Stadium as Smith tags the fastball on 2-1 high down the right field line to the wall, and it's gone.
They were playing at the Clover Stadium in Pomona, New York, and they would walk away victorious with a 6-5 win.
Possibilities here. It's the opener. The opening goal.
Also a win for Ottawa Rapid FC, the women's soccer team playing Halifax Tides FC, and didn't allow the team to put anything in the net tonight. Final score here, 2-0. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with the astronauts from the Artemis II mission on Parliament Hill today. Canadian astronauts Jeremy Hansen and Jenny Gibbons, along with the 3 NASA astronauts, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook, met with the PM. Carney commending the crew on the successful completion of their mission, while Hansen reflected on what the visit means to them.
For us to be here, our first return to the country, a warm embrace of Canada that we felt from the extremes of the moon is just a real treat for us.
Hansen gave Carney a plaque bearing the Canadian flag that was on board the Orion capsule during the mission. The Prime Minister gave each one of the crew members a commemorative coin and gave Hansen the Canadian flag that flew on the Peace Tower the day the team splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. Also, the Prime Minister and the 2 Canadian astronauts visited with students at the Museum of Nature before crew members held a public conversation at the National Arts Centre earlier today.
We always say in this business, like, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Coming up, patio season is upon us and the city is waiving fees for restaurants. We'll explain more a little later. The Ontario government changed the rules to allow retail businesses to open on the holiday Monday. Canadian Tire, Walmart, Home Depot, the LCBO, and beer store locations will open on the holiday Monday, along with the Rideau Centre, Bayshore Shopping Centre, Saint Laurent, Place d'Orleans, and Tanger outlets. According to the website, Costco locations in Ottawa will be closed, though. Now for a closer look at the forecast, let's take a look at our satellite radar picture. You can see all of the green that's rolling around the region there. That is the precipitation that we've seen so far, and some that could take place overnight. Tonight we will see a low of 6 degrees. Don't be surprised if you hear some pitter-patter on your window overnight with the rainfall continuing. The low, 6 degrees in the capital, 7 degrees in Cornwall, Kingston, 4 degrees in Bancroft, 2 in Pembroke, 8 degrees in Maniwaki overnight, as well as Mont-Tremblant and Montreal is a double-digit 10 degrees overnight. As we take a look at tomorrow's daytime highs, however, there's a chance that that precipitation, that rainfall will linger. 14 degrees here in Ottawa is what we're expecting for the daytime high. Very similar temperatures across the region. Slightly cooler in Bancroft at 11 degrees. And we're hoping that that rainfall will taper off at some point. It shouldn't be constant throughout the day. We saw pretty heavy rainfall here in the downtown core this afternoon, but we should be clearing out those rain clouds. And again, very similar temperatures right across the board when it comes to the daytime high. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast, however, there is some temperatures you will be able to look forward to, but that starts next week. Sunday starting off a new week at 23 degrees and lots of sunshine. Once we get through some of the rainfall, we will see over the course of the next few days a high of 21 on Friday, a high of 23 on Saturday, and again, sunny on Sunday, 23 for that daytime high. The holiday Monday, when you're planning to be out and about with the family, maybe taking some tulips, 26 degrees. The overnight low, a drastic dip to 9, and then 28 degrees on Tuesday. Things start to cool off midweek. And it has not been a great start to patio season for local restaurants, but it is about to get better. The City of Ottawa is moving to provide some financial relief heading into the summer. Council voting today to waive patio fees, saving establishments hundreds of dollars. The city scrapped patio fees in 2020, 2021, and 2022 to provide relief to restaurants during the COVID-19 pandemic. The fees were gradually increased in 2023 and 2024 and fully restored last year. Today, councillors unanimously approved a motion from Mayor Mark Sutcliffe and Councillor Sean Maynard to waive the fees for the summer. Sutcliffe says the goal is to help businesses at a time when costs are rising.
This is Ottawa's 200th birthday. We want to have a great summer season. We want lots of patios open, lots of people enjoying their time on the patios, residents and visitors alike. And so if we can support small businesses, reduce their costs, reduce their financial pressures, make it easier for them to open their patios for this season in particular, we want to do everything we can.
Patios offer restaurants, cafes, and bars and additional space for customers during the short summer season. General manager of the King Eddie says their patio fees cost $1,800 a month.
Everything has gone up, from labor to food, and not just the food itself, transporting the food, transportation costs. So, all those things add up, and we always say in this business, it's death by 1,000 cuts. So, the more of those expenses you can kind of limit or offset, then, the better chance you have at surviving.
The city collected about $460,000 in patio fees from businesses last year.
So when's the last time you heard from them?
Well, when I gave him the money.
Coming up, consumer alert and the latest warning about door-to-door contractors. Stay with us for this warning. Welcome back. The price at the pumps is on the rise again heading into the long weekend. Gas prices jumped 3 cents a litre this morning to $1.91 for a litre of regular. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTagg says prices will jump another 3 to 4 cents a litre tomorrow. McTagg tells CP24 that the war in the Middle East is affecting oil supplies.
What's worse here is that, we're dealing with this. Will not be remedied simply by a peace agreement that might see the Straits up. The damage is done. The inventory is extraordinarily low to historical levels, and that means that the energy crisis is going to continue pretty much throughout the summer.
The cost of gas has increased 60 cents a litre over the last 3 months. In more consumer news, you may have noticed contractors in your neighborhood offering to do paving, landscaping, and roofing jobs this spring. CTV's Pat Forn says experts are urging consumers to be careful with companies going door to door.
These are all the bricks that they ripped out from there.
It was 1 month ago when someone came to Heidi April's door in Pickering. They told her they were doing other jobs on her street and could clean up her stonework, pressure wash her driveway, and seal it to give it a fresh new look. She signed a contract and they started removing her interlocking stones. They asked for $3,000 in advance, and when they got that, they never came back.
So when's the last time you heard from them?
Well, when I gave him the money.
April says it was her late husband who did the stonework, and she feels she was caught at a weak moment, wanting it to look its best.
I will never, ever do anything like that, pay anybody anything ahead of time, and especially not door to door.
April signed the contract with Compact Masonry and Roofing. We emailed them and called them several times.
You took $3,000 from her to do some work, and she says that you took the money and didn't come back.
They never got back to us, and when we went to the address listed on their brochure and contract, there was no sign they were there.
So if anyone is showing up at your door, knocking on your door and saying, hey, we can do this work, we can pull up your pavers and make them look real nice and put them back down, and we need cash on the spot, those aren't professional landscape contractors, those are con artists.
Landscape Ontario is a nonprofit trade association representing those in the landscape industry. While companies may drop off brochures at your door, they won't demand cash in advance. The group recommends getting 3 quotes and searching for vetted contractors through their website.
We confirm that the company has WSIB coverage and that they have general liability coverage, right? And we can see how much training that they've been through.
April will now have to pay someone else to repair the damage done. She says this time she'll go with someone suggested by a friend who has a good reputation.
I found somebody who's going to come later today, and he's going to fix it all up.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
You can now fly nonstop from Ottawa to Kelowna. Starting today, Porter Airlines is launching nonstop service between the two cities with 5 flights a week. The flight from Ottawa to Kelowna departs at 10 a.m. Last week, Porter kicked off nonstop flights from Ottawa to Windsor and Sudbury.
We've got 32 cars racing us at a time, and we try and battle it out for the win.
Still ahead, a young driver with a need for speed, hoping to accelerate to the top of his sport.
Ottawa is always on the move.
We're a big city
with a laid-back vibe,
where foodies love their sweets
and markets bursting with flavor,
wrapped up in waterways
and hot summer days.
This is a city where culture is on display.
And the future
meets the past,
where people come together.
Always proud,
often loud,
and positively the best place to live.
We move with you, Ottawa!
Well, to win a NASCAR Canada race, it takes more than just 4 wheels and a massively powered engine. It comes down to skill and talent. CTV's Peter Sperling introduces us to a young Ottawa driver off to a fast start.
Start your engines and strap in. This is Ottawa's very own NASCAR Canada racing driver.
Hi, I'm Connor Bell, and this is my race car.
A high-performance, powered, adrenaline-inducing machine.
We sling it around the track at 260 kilometers an hour. We've got 32 cars racing us at a time, and we try and battle it out for the win.
And win he does. The 20-year-old beat everyone else during his first NASCAR Canada start last summer at Calabogie.
It made us only the second person in NASCAR Canada Series history to win on debut, so it was a pretty special event.
He's amped for more.
I do it for the adrenaline, honestly. It's the speed, you know, it always provides that adrenaline rush, and it never gets old.
Speed, that comes from power and skill.
It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of horsepower. There's no traction control or ABS in these things. Quite the ride, and you got to manage that power through all 4 gears.
He got into this from his father.
He's been racing most of his life, and naturally, when I was young, I was at the track from, I think, 2 years old onwards.
But how do you learn to drive this and race? Some start with karting. For Bell,
I've had a little bit of a different path developing as a race car driver. I did most of my development on racing simulators. So that's kind of where I learned all the basics.
Racing is an expensive sport. He says a typical car costs near $200,000. That's where a title sponsor, Diamond Storage, representing the Diamond Foundation, comes in.
We were only able to do this because of our wonderful sponsors.
He's kicking off this season at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Bowmanville near Toronto, and enthusiastic about this season.
Really looking forward to putting on a show.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
When we return, a final look at the forecast plus signs of a warmer season. The Rideau Canal is primed for boaters as a long weekend draws near.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, it's Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford. Find your wild. More Bronco sports, more ways to roam this summer.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It's 8 degrees out there right now. And now for a final check on the weather, let's see how things will look like when you wake up. Cloudy skies, a chance that it'll be raining tomorrow morning. 8 degrees to start the day, and we should be hitting a daytime high of about 14 degrees. Very similar conditions to what we saw today, but chance of showers, hopefully slightly drier. Friday, similar but warmer, 21 degrees for that daytime high. Saturday, 23. And again, looking forward to Sunday, kicking off a new week. 23 degrees and sunny for the daytime high. Holiday Monday, 26. Finally for us tonight, it's a sign that summer is fast approaching. Boating season is officially underway on the Rideau Canal. The Rideau Canal Cruise has kicked off the new season with tours running from the NAC to Dow's Lake. Parks Canada says the boating season begins on Friday with the historic locks open daily through the spring and summer. Certainly a sign of summer on the way. Happy to see that. That is CTV News for this Wednesday, May 13th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app. And for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night.